All right, everybody, we are alive, and I wanted to do this video because I thought it was important. I'm getting a lot of emails and DMs and IMs and all these different things, and people don't really understand that. Obviously, I have I've looked into all of these things you're sending me. I'm going to basically go over just one section of this deposition. Now, me and Luke, we did a video afterwards, kind of letting me break down. I watched the entire 3.5 hour thing. I do not think that this is good for anybody, okay? Right now, I'm not sitting here about to make a Alex Jones bash piece, but I'm going to show you how much information was really available about Sandy Hook less than a year after the attacks, okay? And how that seemed to just be ignored. And then in this court case, on top of it, everything seems to be being ignored. It's a pretty wild thing to me. And so we're going to just go over it right here. So if you check this out, on my channel, I've excerpted some things. Now, why did I excerpt some things? Number one, I wanted to show the dramatics and the ludicrousy, not only of, Alex, but also the lawyer on the other end. That's why I did the chilly one you can go see and him flipping out. But obviously, there's points where Jones is just playing dumb, filibustering, and then really gaslighting as though he knew something that he obviously did not know or ever look at. And that's why we're going to take a look at this right here, the open or closed. Okay?
Right. Let's talk about the school itself. I want to show you two comments that you made on July 7th, 2015 and April 22nd, 2017. Can you place school was closed?
We have the emails from city council back and forth and the school talking about it being shut down a year before. Then the school was closed till that year, and then the videos, it's all rotting and falling apart and nobody's even in it.
First thing, you admit now there are no emails between city council and the school in which Sandy Hook was being shut down. That's not a real thing.
Objection is to form. This is almost 7 years old, but I do believe that we wouldn't, sometimes we're wrong about things, but there's always some news we're covering or a witness or something. So I can't answer that because of just memory.
So let's just stop that there. As far as I know, I've never seen, and again, I'm going to get into IntelliHub because, let's just minimize this for a second. For anybody that doubts that I was in this, here's an article I did January 26, 2013 for IntelliHub. Here's one I contributed to. We're going to get into later when we go over some of the actual evidence I think people need to start looking at, by the way, and that I think was really obfuscated, which is unfortunate because this was an event that really did need to be questioned, but it got questioned for a lot of the wrong reasons, folks. And then, I may not agree with this headline, but if you'll notice right at the very beginning, December 28th, 2013, this is me contacting everybody. IntelliHub was just one of the organizations. Of course, I contacted InfoWars and let them know that they had declassified at least a large portion of the original report, and anybody could download it. We could get some of the files. And what you're about to see in this Jones deposition, which again does not show any kind of good. There's got to be at least a dozen times this lawyer talks about deep research. I know the Huffington Post has a transcript there and shows clips where Jones says he had done deep research. Now, to me, deep research starts with the available evidence that's put out by the authorities. Obviously, you're going to want to go through, and we will and did go through the news reports that day, eyewitness accounts. All that stuff is important. But there was a large, when I'm talking large, guys, we're not talking small, okay? Take a look. We're going to get there. But when you unzip these, plenty of PDF files, video files we're going to go over quite a bit. This is going to be a long broadcast. Okay, I think it's going to be a very important and enlightening broadcast, and I'm hoping that it's going to get some people asking the right questions.
6 years ago, whatever it was.
That clip we just played you was April 22nd, 2017.
And
that was a year before you were sued,
it's
right?
Like 3 seconds long.
Right, but it's not 7 years ago, is it, Mr. Jones? You were saying that a year before you were sued.
I can't answer this. It's not in context. I don't know what you're showing me.
Of course. So objection non-responsive. When you said in the videos it's all rotting and falling apart, we talked earlier, you'd seen the interior videos of Sandy Hook. That's something you'd seen before.
There's photos and things that's on the news, like the mold and the rotting doors.
And you said in the videos it's falling apart. You just said that on that video.
Objection as to form.
Right?
I saw the edited video. I don't know what it's for. I don't know the context.
Sure, but you said in this video, in the videos, the school's rotting and all falling apart and nobody's even in it.
Objection.
Right? That's what you said.
Objection as to form.
I have no idea what the context of this is.
So let's stop. Obviously, it's not hard to find the context of a video where you said that the video showed the interior of the building rotting and falling apart. Well, folks, we're going to get there because, again, what I just showed you right here, if you'll notice it says school interior, school interior, school interior. All this is school interior. And, you know, we'll get there, but there's hours of this video. And yeah, there's a lot of content redacted. But this was one of the reasons, guys, when a lot of people were trying to tell me that children hadn't died or they used crisis actors and all this, I was like, look, I've seen that. And I can't imagine that law enforcement went in there, taped all this stuff, and they're just redacting the content to try to cover it up. No, it looks like a bloodbath in there. And we're going to go over the police scanners that day and reports of several people being of interest and detained. And some really odd and creepy stuff. We're going to show you pictures inside the home of Lanza that you've probably never seen before, that the media has never put out in mass, and the alternative media certainly has never really shown you in mass. There are good people out there. There are people that go through and actually research this stuff, but unfortunately, when you're not sensationalizing something, when you're not acting like you have all the answers, people don't gravitate towards that. So we're going to continue.
So wait, there's a context in which saying in the videos the school was all rotting and falling apart and nobody's even nodding in it.
Why are the videos all 3 seconds long?
Because I'm focusing in on specific issues, Mr. Jones, and I want to know this claim you made that there is a video of the school where it's rotting and falling apart. That's all I care about right now. You saw such a video?
Objection as to form.
I have seen, from memory, news reports showing photos and images. I mean, again, this is my memory fails, but I do remember seeing photos and I guess put to video of the school being in disrepair.
Let me stop that. Photos put to video of the school being in disrepair. So what's he talking about? Like a compilation video? This is gaslighting 101. It's obviously not true. And we're going to show you they're not pictures put to video. Yes, there's pictures inside the school, sure, but there's video. And he's about to show him some of that video. This is a very small clip of it. But we're going to, and again, publicly available. I contacted people there. You know, I don't want to throw names out there because I'm not going to bring them into this. I don't want to end up in a courtroom by any means. I have no idea what was actually brought to Alex. I had no firsthand contact with him about the subject of Sandy Hook. I want to make that clear.
Let's play for you really quick. I want to show you this video, the interior video of Sandy Hook that was taken that day. I want to show you a clip from that. And I want you to note that every time they're going to go, there's a couple times they're going to go in the hallway. And there's a part of the hallway they go in and it has to say redacted. Because that's where Miss Hopspring and Miss Sherlock's blood is all over that hallway. But I want you to take a look at the hallways and the classrooms for me as we watch this video. Can you play interior of Sandy Hook?
Now, again, I'd seen all this stuff. No doubt. Seen it all. Knew it was
Mr.
real.
Jones, that school is not rotting, falling apart, or abandoned, is it?
It's not.
Objection as to form. And I assume that includes any authentication disputes that I have about whether something is...
Under the Texas rules, every bit of evidence that is offered in the deposition is not, there's no waiver of any objection, Mr. Barnes. That video is not, that school is not rotting and falling apart. It's not abandoned, is it, Mr. Jones?
I've never seen that video.
Boom! You've done deep research, but you've never seen that video? Again, available late December 2013. Think about what this lawyer's citing. He's citing him in 2015. He cites him in 2014 in this, 2017, you name it. And he could do it a lot more. Trust me. And I'm not trying to make this about, everything Jones has done. I think he's done some really good work in the past. Obviously, I've worked with the man. That's not what this is about. But for him to make the statements he did, definitive statements, and then double down on them as he's about to, you watch where this goes. Guys, we're going to watch a lot more video than the 30 seconds there. At least we're going to scroll through it. It's obviously not an abandoned school. So again, when I started seeing all this stuff about the school being abandoned and not open a year before, you have to have discernment. You have to have discernment. That's what this is first about. But remember what they're suing him for. They're suing him essentially for making definitive defamatory statements. I think that's going to be very tough to beat with the evidence he shows here. But let's continue. So again, we've just seen the inside of the school. It appears that it was open, right, guys? But we're going to get to a lot more of that later. Watch what happens here.
I'm perfectly confident you haven't. Absolutely, I know that. But what I'm asking you is, seeing it right now, what I just showed you, regardless of what school it was or if I just went and took it over at Eastside Elementary, that school that you just saw on screen is not rotting, is not falling apart, and does not look to be abandoned, does it?
It looks dilapidated.
Okay, Mr. Jones. You've seen Mr. Zip's affidavit, correct?
So let's stop it there. He's still just, again, it looks dilapidated. He's not a dumb man. He doesn't want this to go further than it has to. And by the way, I'm not endorsing the mainstream media. They did a very poor job on this too. This is going to be, again, a very long broadcast, and we're going to show you what the legitimate questions are after we go through this, because there was plenty of legitimate questions. And, after I show you this, and we're just going to get there.
Mr. Zip.
Mr. Zip, Fred Zip, plaintiff's expert, who's sitting with us in the room today. You've seen his affidavit in this case?
No.
Okay, so you didn't know that there were 180 news articles from 2009 to 2011 about Sandy Hook School with photos of the children doing things from multiple sources. That's
All right,
not
so
something
you know what, again, I'm just going to stop it there. You can watch a little bit more of that segment over on my YouTube channel. I've got a ton of that stuff queued up. So as I was just showing you, we're going to go in here. And you can kind of tell in the thumb that obviously this is going to be the inside of the school. I'm just going to give you a preview of where we're going to look at. Now, this is outdoor, that day police. I'm going to show you the cars, one of which I believe was targeted, by the way, that never was talked about. And then the supposed Lanza vehicle here. All these, when you unzip them, you have huge image caches. Huge. I'll be quite honest, I have not gone through all the image caches. So I want to state right here, I have not done super deep research into this. A lot more could be done. But in comparison to what was done by Jones and InfoWars, it's insurmountable. You're going to have a better lesson on the real questions to ask Sandy Hook right now by watching this video. I promise you that. It would be impossible for you not to, because we're going to actually look at the evidence. So the first thing I want to do here, guys, is we're going to start talking about, the actual men in the woods. And one of the things I did not clip was where he pretty much eviscerates him on the people that ran off into the woods. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't. In fact, I think that's a legitimate question. And the question is who they were, because it does seem to be they. Now, the timeline we're going to read here, it suggests multiple suspects. I'm not sure how many we're talking about. Who they were, but we had at least one in the front seat, according to the Newton B, who was supposedly an off-duty police officer. Now, that would maybe explain the camo pants, if it were camo. I don't know. Again, the lawyer is pretty tough on Jones if you've watched that. Again, watch everything for yourself. But we're going to start going over some of the people and the radio chatter of, again, people being reported outside in the shadows and then being detained afterwards.
I have reports that the teacher saw two shadows running past the building, past the gym, which would be rear.
Now, the next thing I want to say is...
They're shooting. Yeah, we got them. They're coming at me down Cross Point. Come up the driveway on the left side. That's 6, this is it. I got a party on the... I got it thrown down.
So I just want to pause here. I'm not sure that, again, that radio coincides with this video. They're two different sources. So let's get that out of the way. I don't want to be deceptive in any manner. But over the radio, they absolutely detained other people and absolutely are chasing people on this video. That's not fake. And yes, people were reported, and yes, there were eyewitnesses. And later on, I'm going to show you that original article I did all the way back in January of 2013. A lot of the YouTube stuff is gone, but I'm going to show you at least one news reporter confirming they have on video an adult being taken away in cuffs. Now, when we watch this audio chatter, you're also going to hear about Lanza, who was shot inside. You know, that's not to say Lanza wasn't there and not involved. You know, a lot of these things, I'm not saying he's not the only person, but it certainly seems suspicious when you look at nobody surviving, no survivors that were shot. That's pretty incredible. I'm not. The whole thing is frightening. The amount of ammunition in there, and again, the fact that you had these other people detained and other people that got away, it seems, and they were searching for that were on the ramp to Danbury. But we'll get there. Let's get there.
For that unit, be aware that we could have a second unit. For school, for the party in custody, 401. Duty check. Nice, we got one back down. Clear, suspect down. Calling to the left. 5 Delta 5 on your side.
Cars responded. Shooters apparently still shooting in the office area. 12 Dixon Drive.
I got already on the. I got called out. Correct. You aware that we could have a second unit? Eyes last, no shots were in the front of the room. 9-8. For school, to the party in custody, 401.
So right there, boom. We've got one suspect in custody in front of the school, likely the person detained near the firehouse. You know, there's a witness later. That's what they're referring to there. But yes, so there's at least one person in custody. Okay, so again, Lanza killed inside the school, but it seems they have other people in custody. And again, we had one person in the front. I know that Chris Manfredonia, who was a father of one of the kids who was supposed to be making, I believe, gingerbread cookies there. Many speculate he may have been one of the people that was detained because he went around the side of the building. That's a big possibility. But again, we're talking about more than one person.
Check. Gotta go. These units in the pool, I got bodies here. But, get the ambulance. Hey. Alright, is that the EMS in?
149. We have Sergeant from Newtown on scene. Unknown if the shooter is looking.
As for the building, not secure, so we can't have anybody able to put in. Negative on description. Okay, shots were fired about 3 minutes ago. Quiet at the time. 9-2, we got one back down. 831. Come in. Clear.
So right there, suspect is down. That's who I believe they're referring to as Lanza. And don't worry, folks, we're going to go way beyond just the police scanner audio. But that's something that, you know, was not highlighted enough. We had the scanner audio again lined up, you know, with the video that was kind of deceptive because they may or may not have had something to do with each other. But we absolutely had that video of somebody running into the woods, maybe two suspects, and then being taken down and detained. And we do have this audio.
Where suspect down?
Now again, I think there's a possibility that maybe reporting the same thing twice. I don't know if that's a third suspect.
One suspect down. The building is not been cleared.
Danbury's reporting a possible vehicle, purple van, 2 occupants with a possible ski mask that may be involved in this incident. Exit 8 heading down Stony Hill towards the center.
Now, I noticed that the person who made this video here, they talked about nun outfit, okay? And that's where I really think it gets super odd and possibly important. Because not only are you going to hear more, again, they talk about the ski masks, this purple van, and then the nun outfit, but then they talk about them in conjunction, possibly. And then there's a news report that the shooter possibly may have been dressed up as a minister. It's since been taken off YouTube, but whoever made this took it, and I want to put that in hindsight, that was it. So let's continue.
Connecticut 770, Yankee Sierra Whiskey 770, YSW, Truck Director.
Any involved in this incident. Also, we're getting reports of one of them maybe wearing a nun outfit.
Nun outfit.
Heading towards Danbury, Stony Hill. Purple van, unknown plate.
I was last seen on Stony Hill by exit 8. Loading right now, they're going to transport momentarily. People in the van had masks. One was dressed what appeared to be a nun's outfit. Roger Sergeant Stratton got off the phone with Pepper, and he said that they're using Griffin. They just confirmed that he was standing behind me. Is 1089 available to go on Route 8 and take a post for this purple van?
This comes from a couple of sources.
All right.
That he was definitely.
So now this is the news report. Notice how it's skewed. I'd love to get the original footage. It looks like it may have been from a local feed that day. Looks like Channel 6. If you kind of look, I'd love to get the stuff that's not skewed like this. So all the way back in, let's see, January 17th, 2013. Okay, you'll see that a lot of the stuff this video included is down. But what I thought was important was this clergy line you're about to hear from this guy. And this is pretty weird.
Dressed in black. But one of the sources is saying, only one, that he was dressed as a member of the clergy. That they thought he was a minister. But anyway, he was dressed in black with the body armor. He came in with a Glock semi-automatic pistol and a 6-hour automatic pistol. And he also somehow got into the school the civilian version of the M16 rifle.
Remember he talked about, by the way, guys, or when they talked about, what was it? They talked about the multiple weapons in there. So now, first I want to go here. So the clergy angle, the thing was they actually, if you looked, I wonder if this story is still up. Probably is. Okay? Some of the first people on the scene were a member. Oh, why'd that do that? That's crazy. Why? It's because it's so online. It's so bizarre. Let's see, it seemed to be loading just fine. There we go. So Clive Carver is like this $1 million preacher. It's so weird. It looks like it doesn't want to show you here. But he was the first person called to this thing, and there's nuns on the scene. Now, what does that mean? Well, if it was an operation, it seemed to have cover if you had these people dressed like clergy. And then clergy, the last people that you would think, number one, a bunch would show up that had no idea about this. You know, they just got an anonymous call that your help was needed at this school, a tragedy had happened, right? And two, it would give cover to the people dressed that way if they were indeed able to evade police and if this was an operation. These are huge ifs. Huge ifs. But I asked the real questions. I never asked the bullshit, guys. And the bullshit was poison. Because I watched, for instance, and a lot of people, I hope you understand this. I watched, for instance, Larry, where are we going to go here? The coroner, you know, they had those cut clips where he was laughing and acting weird. Well, you watch the whole thing, he's very uncomfortable. He just saw a bunch of dead children. Dead children. Now here, let's see if we can bring these up. I want to go through just some of the images to give you an idea of how big these scenes are, because there's a ton of stuff here. I mean, just a ton to look over. So this is inside the Lanza home, right? A lot of this stuff is going to be redacted. Man, why is my computer acting so funny? Come on, Adobe Premiere. Or Premiere. Adobe Suite. It's right there. I don't know, it doesn't want to act right. We're going to close the program, I guess. So let's try to launch that again. There we go. There we go. So now we're in the Lanza home, right? Let's zoom out a little bit so you can get a better look at all these. In the Lanza home. Bring this back over. And, you know, like one of the, I mean, look at this picture. Now, it seems pretty crazy, but it seems like the kid was around guns all his life. It's pretty well known that his mother was. They show you that, all right? Let's go back. Let's go through a few rows of these. All right, so this is day 3. This is when they're inside the home. And by the way, there's a lot of video redacted from being inside. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Inside the home that day. And we're going to go through that video. You know, again, some of these scenes, you know, bullet casings and stuff like that you're going to see. I remember when I was going through this, I mean, just a plethora of evidence that this actually happened, guys. That this was not a drill, okay? Now, by the way, it looks like these are some of the medications that either Lanza or his mother was on. You can look at that. Again, real evidence, real stuff. Let's continue. Because, you know, again in the beginning, oh, I'm going backwards. Again in the beginning, Lanza mother was reported as being a teacher in the school. Well, it certainly does look like her son was autistic and that she was working with them in some respects. You know, again, a lot of this stuff is blacked out for sure. I'm not sure how much that has to do with the gore factor. You know, they're heavy on the firearms, obviously. You know, here's a picture, supposedly, that Lanza drew. Now here, if you look, this does look like she helped with the 5th grade class. I don't want to go too much, but let's go back one, up one, right there. 5th grade stepping up ceremony, 1999. So looks like she was heavily involved, at least at that point when he was much younger. I'm not quite sure if it was with his class. You know, he had an older brother. You'll see that stuff there. But it does look like she has some connection to Sandy Hook, right? Sandy Hook Elementary. There's the stepping up ceremony, more evidence. Here's like the Asperger syndrome stuff, the books. And again, how long has this taken us? You're sitting here watching it. Is this deep research? I wouldn't consider this super deep research. I'd say it's more research than a lot of people have done. You just by sitting here and looking at this. Let's scroll through the rest of these because there's only about 111 of them. They talk about taking control. They've got a couple passages here about his medication, when problems arise. You know, she seemed to have her handful with this kid. Now, you know, you could say that anything could be planted and this and that, but he did seem to have mental issues. I don't think that is really a question. So let's go back to these documents. Go to just the next layer, and then we're going to get to some of the videos. I don't want to make this too long. So here's the house. 667 images, guys, of the house that day. Again. Boom. And it seems like to me... by the way, I'm going to get out of this scene for a second because I'm going to show you something. Right there in the corner, let's zoom in on that. Now, I haven't, again, sorry. I want to, oh, damn. Not what I wanted to do. Here, I think this is what I wanted. Right there. All right, let's see. So... I've noticed at least that I think that most of these things with any kind of blood has been, that's what we're seeing censored. I could be wrong, but right here, if you look at that, right here, it seems like that could be blood. And maybe not. I believe this is several days later. So very possible that the majority of what is censored seems to be the gore factor, okay? Let's close all tabs. Let's get through the videos, guys. Now, you know, one of my big disappointments here, by the way, with these, is that I think that a lot of them were over-censored. So, for instance, the dash cam footage, here we go, some of the police on the scene. On the way there, we're not seeing any censorship, really. But once they're parked, there is a lot of stuff, I'm going to get to the next one here, that to me is overly redacted for one reason or another, which, you know, may or may not be suspicious to people. I don't know that there's a lot of gore factor here. I'm not sure what's being protected here. Certainly some questions, but I don't think many, because again, we have the dash cam stuff. We know that the unredacted stuff absolutely exists somewhere. They made this available, again, within a year. Within a year, guys. Okay? And again, you can go get this. No one's stopping you. Okay? Period. So let's see. Let's continue over here. This is more. Now, I would assume that maybe some of the stuff that did get redacted are those suspects. You know, being run down, being put into custody. Okay? So I wanted to get to this right here. Okay, well, let's see the school exterior. Okay, right here, let's pause it. Now, if you look where the cop is, right here, you're going to see that it looks like you have some kind of black stuff. Now, I noticed these, remember we were talking about nuns, we're talking about a minister outfit, we're talking about black. We're talking about black body armor, right? Well, outside of the car always bothered me in the pictures. And some of the pictures had the doors open. You know, no telling whether the cops opened those doors or if there were accomplices. That's, you know, they just left them open. But there are two what appear to be hooded sweatshirts and black jackets that, you know, some people have claimed, you know, he had the guns hidden in there. Maybe he had the guns in the backseat. Possibility, but why put them in hooded sweatshirts and not just a blanket or something else? That was a little, I don't know, more fitting, I guess. So let's play some of this. Turn the volume down here. So, you know, real crime scene. Let's get to the outside of the cop car. This is, of course, the Lanza vehicle. And these are the sweatshirts that I'm talking about right here. Okay? Zooming in. There's two on the ground. I don't know. What does that suggest to you? This was never hyped up. It was never really looked at. They sort of talked about, you know, the possibility of other suspects. But again, this is not, to me, in any way, shape, or form, deep research. This was available stuff. Super available. And when everybody was talking about other stuff, I was like, well, you know, there's a lot to go on. I doubt that all these people conducted this investigation as part of a drill where no children died and, you know, covered it up. And again, that's not to say we have all the answers. No clue as to how much of this was answered to us, okay? So again, there's the suspect vehicle. There's a zoom in on the hoodie, the bullets, the different weapons. You do have quite a bit of redacted content, okay? But again, outside of school, that school is not closed. Again, there's no, every classroom that you'll see, okay? So I want to also point this out. Again, not something that's really talked about. But one of the teachers that got killed, well, her car was shot up too. Never really heard that too. It seemed like there was targeting, okay? Let's get in there, but boom, bullet hole here. Marked in. Oh, let's go back to that one. Another bullet hole. You know, did this person have animosity towards them? You know, did Lanza not like this particular person? I don't know. Those are not speed holes, whoever just wrote that. It's like, what's going on? So, again, bullet holes in this specific vehicle, right? Now, if you look at the Lanza vehicle, they also seem to mark all four doors on the inside and the outside, obviously looking for prints. Okay? So, do I know that they found other prints? No, I have no clue. But again, I'm showing you the actual evidence that we have, that we can go on. The police scanner, the reports of the ski masks, the nuns, the people that were actually run down. I'm not sitting here telling you they were a paramilitary group. I'm not saying that nobody died. Come on, man. When you get into that school, and we're about to get into that school, it's the next place we're going to jump. And again, I just want to show everybody this, okay? You can get these easily. If you type in Sandy Hook investigation or Sandy Hook, 2013, I think they released them on the 27th or the 28th of December. You can get them too. You can make your own decision. You can decide whether or not I'm feeding you bunk, okay? But let's take a look inside the school right now. Let's go there because we can. So in the interior, a lot of this, it's December 16th right here. And a lot of the content is redacted because, again, there'd be blood. But here we are, again, bagels out. Bagels, you think they just brought the bagels in? Bagels don't last forever, guys. They fully stocked the place for the cafeteria. Oh, it's falling apart. It does look dilapidated. Doubles down on bullshit. Come clean when you got to come clean, man. Lies don't make friends. Like they just don't. Here's some more. Oh, look at that door. It's rusty. Down the basement. Oh boy. So again, Jim fully thing kind of makes me vomit. I'm not gonna lie. Like, come on. Guys. I'm speed going through these. And again, now you've done deeper research than most. How long we been running? 25, 30 minutes tops? I'm not even sure. Couldn't tell you. Guys, I think that's where I'm going to wrap this up. And I'm going to wrap it up by saying to you, please, 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 please have your own discernment. You have to decide what you believe. You can be your own investigator in the age of information. There's so much available to everybody out there. You want to support my work, please go over to, We Are Change and Pulse Change. Subscribe, ring the bell, subscribe here if you're not subscribed. Please, 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 we need it. But we do 4 videos a day over there now. I'm not going to get everything right. I'm not going to tell you that I know everything. I'm not going to tell you about inside sources that I don't have, and I'm not going to tell you about deep research I have not done. I'm going to tell you the truth, and if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. I'm not going to double down on lies. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it, and I think I'm going to be doing a video with a Nexium update a little later, so check that out.